Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sampson, Stephanie Phillips with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today we have Michael Naft, Clark County Commission, District A. But before we get to Commissioner Naft, Ms. Phillips.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, and thank you to our sponsors. We have Dr. Ari Nagy. He's running for Congressional District 3. His website is nagyforcongress.com, nagyforcongress.com, and that's F-O-R. We also have Henderson's Mayor, Michelle Romero. She's running for re-election. Her website is votemichelleromero.com, votemichelleromero.com. We also have Cody K. Whipple. He's running for Congressional District 4. His website is codykforcongress.com, and that is the number 4, codykforcongress.com. We also have Dave Marlin. He's running for Las Vegas City Council, Ward 6. His website is daveforvegas.com, daveforvegas.com. And our newest sponsor, Judge Jennifer Schwartz. She is running for re-election for Department 17, and her website is judgeschwartz.com, judgeschwartz.com. So you'll want to jump on those websites and find out about these candidates. Also, we have a merch store. It's vipimerch.com, vipimerch.com. There's all kinds of fun things for you to check out there. And also, don't forget to grab your copy of Steve's book, How to Navigate Nevada's Family Court System. If you're a litigant in family court and you don't have an attorney and you can't afford one, this is a self-help book and it will help you navigate that system. You can get on Amazon. It is $14.99, so grab yourself a copy. It will help you through. A rant real quick. I didn't get to one last time, but candidates, sometimes we see candidates that are reluctant to give out their cell phone numbers.
And mine is all over the internet.
Well, and we like to have the guest's cell phone number because then we're in direct touch with them. You know, if they're running late or they get lost, all kinds of reasons. But anyway, when we see candidates that are reluctant to give out their cell phone number because of safety reasons or otherwise, we laugh because most people don't know new candidates. They don't know who they are. They're running for a local office. When I ran for a statewide office, I had my cell phone number on my business cards, my website. I gave it out on live shows like this. Everybody had my cell phone number. And I think that candidates who make themselves publicly available, where people can call them. I had people call me all the time. And I called every person back and talked to everybody I could. But I think it's really important because you're transparent and you are running to serve the people in Nevada or in this county or depending on what office you're running for. So we think that is important and encourage giving out your cell phone number and not trying to protect your safety on giving out a cell phone number. We just think it's silly. Sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
You're welcome.
Give out your cell phone number. I mean, some people I know have the president's cell phone number.
I mean,
give out your cell phone number.
It just makes them, I think they feel self-important or something. It just it's a bad look, I think. Anyway.
Or they just don't want to talk to nobody.
Do you give out your cell phone number?
I was going to say, my name is Michael Naft and my cell phone number is 702-769-9225.
There we go.
I put it on every piece of written material that I print. It's on my website. I think it's kind of when you sign your name on the line and you're going to run for office, it seems like the least you could do is to be accessible. And that starts with giving it. I mean, first of all, there's no privacy related to cell phone numbers anymore. There shouldn't be. And
you don't want to talk to the person, put them voicemail. Yeah. Or block them.
And if there's a crazy, block them.
If you want to, you're here to serve, and that's the job. So,
no. Thank you.
Commissioner Naft.
Michael.
Could you give us a bio, please? Don't leave anything out because I got a lot.
Well, I've been serving on the Clark County Commission now for 7 years. I grew up in Southern Nevada.
Has it been that long?
It's been that long.
Jeez.
I know. It's hard to believe. I don't feel any older, but I've been there 7 years now. I grew up in this community. I went to Treem, Thorpe, Thurman White, and then Las Vegas Academy. Okay. I went to Las Vegas Academy as a magnet school. I love magnet schools. I think they are no matter what it is, no matter what the specialty is, I think having that option for people to take advantage of is really important. And
Rancho is
it was a big deal. They have a magnet program at Rancho.
Yeah. Two of my boys went there.
Actually, I took the transfer bus. I don't think they do this anymore, but at the time you had to transfer buses to get to Las Vegas Academy, and we transferred at Rancho. So
that's the one on the hill, isn't it? Las Vegas Academy on the hill?
That's the downtown, 7th and Bridger,
downtown
Las Vegas, and it's a tech theater program. I was a tech theater major. I had no talent, but for me, learning what I probably wasn't right for is as important as learning what I am meant for. And so, loved my time there, and like I said, I grew up in this community. I live in Henderson with my wife, Lauren, and our 2 kids. Our daughter turned 6 yesterday, and our son is 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you left a lot of bio
I'll give you
stuff
more.
out.
I'll give you more. I don't
We'll
want
get
to filibuster.
Stuff.
I'm the chairman of the Clark County Commission
Congrats,
right now.
by the
Thank
way.
you. Thank you.
Will I get my mic shut off?
He'll do a much better job. I can tell you that.
And then blame it on the tech.
We're going to have to go to another meeting really soon.
How about let's make a deal? I won't blame it on the tech. How about that?
He's like, no,
He'll just take responsibility.
Shut your mic off.
Don't worry, we're not going to shut your mic off.
I appreciate that. And I serve on a lot of regional boards that I think are really important. I serve on the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority Board. I serve on a lot of fiscal committees, the Metropolitan Police Department's Fiscal Affairs Committee, which hopefully we could talk about that, and other committees that I actually find really interesting. The Audit Committee is one that I think they give to the new guy on the county commission. I chair it now. But that is so important, and you've brought up some of these.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. And I think the Audit Committee, has exposed me to a lot of departments that you may not be that intimately familiar with.
Like the recorder's office.
Recorder's office.
We're going to talk about that too.
And I think that's been really valuable for me. So I've stayed on that as long as I've been there, and I'm enjoying it. I also serve on the Debt Management Commission. That's the committee that is tasked it's a regional board that is tasked with ensuring that the entire Southern Nevada Valley doesn't have any fiscal irresponsibilities when it comes to going into debt and bonding capacity. And so I enjoy my time there as well.
You won the Las Vegas Convention as well?
Yes, sir.
And you got appointed by a friend of mine a long time ago, Steve Sisolak.
I was appointed to the balance of his term. I filled out the last 2 years of his term, and then have since been elected twice.
And your education? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I
mentioned you have a big
Trame, Thorpe, Thurman White, Las Vegas Academy, and UNLV, where I studied political science.
Did you like that?
Political science?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Well, of course. Look what he's doing.
I did. Yeah, I did. I love UNLV. I think it's a good school. It's an important part of our fabric here.
Well, what really got you in politics was it because you was also on Congresswoman Titus' staff.
Yeah, I worked for her for 13 years before
That's
coming
a long
to the
time.
county. That is a long time. Yeah, you're right. Talk about the last 7 years. Let's talk about that does make me feel older when you
I didn't
say
know
it
that about
way.
you. What did you do for her?
I started out doing all kinds of things on a campaign, and then the last 6 years I was her district director and ran the congressional office here in Las Vegas, and that's really where I did a lot of my time serving the public. You talked about the cell phone number. That's rubber meets the road. People have problems, whether it's the Veterans Affairs Committee, the VA, whether it's Social Security. You can actually get invested and get down into the weeds and help people get the services of what they're entitled to, what they fought for or what they earned through Social Security, and help them if they're having any issues with it. I really like that work.
How do you deal with those folks that come to the commission that just talks nonsense? I mean, when we go there, we're fact-based. We're there.
We got a purpose.
We're in, we're out. Those people that just come there all the time talk about their bus pass and the bus stop is over here. And how do you...
And there's red light. They can't get through the red light.
How do you deal with the nonsense? You should have a nonsense department that they could go to. Create a nonsense
You know what
department.
I would actually like? What I have, maybe now that I'm chair, I'll do this. I have always thought that we should have not a nonsense department, but we should have like a customer service desk where after your limited 3 minutes are up, if there's questions you had that weren't quite answered, or you have an actual honest to God problem,
Right.
you should be able to walk over there and sit down and actually
Right.
try and understand what
Voice.
the issue is, and someone should be
Yeah.
able to help you. Putting that aside, the truth of it is, you know what? This really illustrates it well. You guys, not everybody has, you guys have spent some time in the chambers. What's unique about it? When you walk into that chamber, what's different than any other chamber in Southern Nevada? You walk in,
You're on top, and then you walk
Bingo.
down.
Oh.
Yes.
you are the highest person in the room.
Yes.
And every member of the public stands higher than the elected county commission. And I think that is, to answer your question, how do I respond to that? That is a visual, physical reminder to me of the reason why we're there. We work for you two. We work for anyone else who comes into that building. The fact that no matter who you are, what background you have, what education you have, how much money you have, whether you agree or disagree with the people who are sitting in our seats, you have the right to come forward, speak your mind. I think that's a really special thing. And anybody who does that, because far too few do, anyone who does that, I think, deserves their time, and probably more than that. So that's what's in my mind when I'm maybe not always agreeing with the person who's given the commentary. I can at least respect the fact that they went through something to get there that day, and they're entitled to their time. All 3 minutes of it.
All 3 minutes of it. Not a second over.
Oh, God forbid. No. I've gone over. I went over like 10 seconds and Tick didn't cut mine off.
You are a female.
Probably. I
went over 20 and all hell broke loose.
Okay, well, let's start with the audit thing. I have so many subjects to talk about, but the audit. So, talk about how often that is done. Go ahead.
So the audit committee right now is myself, Commissioner McCurdy, and Commissioner Becker are on there. Mm-hmm. It is a committee. We have an audit staff, and it's intended it's internal, right? So they can audit what's under the purview of the audit committee. The audit department is contracts that the county has, mm-hmm. Or departments that the county has. Sometimes other agencies, if it's related to maybe an MOU or a contract within an external agency. Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. Right now, I'm a little tired of seeing so much trash on the 215 Beltway, right? I don't know if you guys noticed that. I see a lot of trash up the rocks, right? The 215, when I was growing up, when it was built, was like a pristine Beltway, mm-hmm. right? It was mm-hmm. like, people would come from out of town. They'd be like, is this really a highway? What is this thing? It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And it pains me to see that there's trash on it, right? We contract out a lot of that service. We do internal to the county. We do the street sweeping. Street sweeping happens every 30 days. Okay. We have a private contractor who does the...
Throughout Clark County?
I'll get into that in a second.
That's I was going to say, Justin?
Yes is the answer.
Justin, it's not every 30 days, so...
Well, and so the street sweeping's done internally. The landscaping, and that's where a lot of the dirt or stuff piles up, that is done by an outside contractor. So I am currently asked that contractor be audited, that we make sure that we're spot checking. Taxpayers are paying for that service, right? There's also a safety component here, which I hope we could talk a little bit about that, something I work a lot on. And so I want to know, are they out there as often as they're supposed to be? Are they cleaning where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be? And that might not be the sexiest thing to do, but I think it's really important that you get what you pay for. And so that's one of those things I mentioned related to the audit committee that I
just want to make one disclosure. Justice Justin Jones have been on the program several times while he was in the legislature. So.
Okay. So when you're talking to this company and you're going through there, maybe you could specifically zero in on District F. You heard my testimony months ago.
Yes.
And probably saw the video that we did when we were out on the street in District F and, kind of going around. But whatever company is doing that, they are not doing their job. Spring Mountain, Rainbow, Desert Inn, Valley View, Arville. I can name Flamingo, Torrey Pines.
It's interesting. Mm-mm. So, actually, it's a federal requirement that the streets be swept every 30 days. That's a standard, right? Up until 2005, Clark County sweep. This is like must-see TV. Stop me if I'm getting too in the weeds, literally. But the county used to, up until 2005, do street sweepers every mile lane of road. That's almost 9,000 mile lanes right now. Was swept twice a month, every 15 days. Okay. 2005 happens, recession happens, you get budget constraints, they pull back on everything non-essential. I get it, right? It's a long time ago. They pulled that back to 30 days, which is the minimum that the federal government wants you doing that work. Well, since 2005, the population's gone from 1.5 million to 2.5 million here in Clark County. And we're sweeping the streets half as much as we were back then. And that's just like common sense. Probably not.
Sweep it more.
You're not gonna cut it, right? And it gets more complicated. Street sweepers, we've got 20 people who do this work. But if a street sweeper goes out of service, which happens, think about, you guys have like a vacuum or a robot vacuum, one of those things, and think about how often that thing gets tangled up or something. These things go out of service, they're in the shop, and then you're out one of these machines. So maybe we got to buy an extra one to rotate out and spend a little bit of money in order to, one, have safe, clean streets, and just kind of that's kind of the bare minimum that local government's supposed to do.
How about take out all those millions and millions that are sitting in that fund for streets, all that. Oh, and the potholes and all those.
Yeah, I was going to say the other thing that I just was with our chief for Metro, Chief Hernandez, this morning talking about this. When I came to the county, this didn't exist. We have since developed Fix It Clark County. I don't know if you've ever tried to use it. It's an app, and the reason I was talking to the chief about it is because I want to get it downloaded on every Metro phone in the department, because these guys are out there driving the roads every day. They might see something. They've got 3,000 more people on patrol than I have in Public Works Department. Mm-hmm. They might see something that we don't see, like a tree is down on the road, right? Or like a pothole or a blind graffiti, absolutely. Blind corners. You're looking to take a left out of a shopping plaza and there's bush that's grown up there. You can't see where you're going. You get hit by a car. These are like core responsibilities of local government. That app is a really effective tool. So I try to use this platform to try to offer that.
Can I have that on my phone?
I'll help you before I leave. Put it on, because any member of the
I would
public
love that.
can go around and say you see graffitis is actually a really, I think it's probably used more for graffiti than anything else. You can pull out your phone, take a picture of the graffiti. It knows where you are, so it tracks the location of it, right? And you even don't do it while you're driving, but safely take the picture. It gets submitted to the appropriate department. In my district, I ask that all Fix-It tickets go to my email address so that I can see what's going on. And it actually gets fixed. Not all the time, not that day, but it gets in the queue. Graffiti gets cleaned up really quickly. If it's reported properly, we can get after it really quickly. We've got a good abatement team out there. It's staffed well. They do a good job. Some of these other things might take a little bit longer if it's, physical work, if it requires going out to contract or bid on something. But it's a really, really effective tool.
Yeah, the roads are just falling apart in District F. And it has been for years and years. And I wonder when they're going to get around to getting those streets fixed. I mean, you drive up DI all the way to Durango from Valley View, Flamingo, Rainbow, Spring Mountain, any of those, they're a disaster.
You're ending when you get to my district, but Tropicana, I'll tell you right now, is under a massive entire. It's a headache, right?
I've seen. Oh, it is.
But you're going to have an entirely brand new road, including sidewalks, from the 15 to Durango. It happens to be my whole district there, but
I put a call into you. I just remembered because sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. It's your show.
Well, on Tropicana, since you brought that up, in Valley View.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Rainbow. Okay.
Valley View, there's a big empty lot right there where they bulldoze all those buildings. Do you know what's going to be there in its
Trop in Valley View?
Trop in Valley View.
I'll have to check it for you, but I'll text you back.
Yeah, because I like to
Yeah.
know what's going to go over
Okay.
there because they took everything down and they redid the whole Tropicana.
Oh, you mean when we did our the big Valley View project?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was probably there's a remnant piece over there that they had used for to store a lot of it. Do you know where they storing construction equipment
No.
when they did that project?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll look into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Please continue.
No. Anyway, I just think having both the public's help is really important to that.
Okay.
We're redoing that whole stretch of Tropicana, which is a headache, but once it's done, you're going to have brand new roads. One of the most impactful things I've done in Laughlin, because I represent the area from Flamingo all the way south to the California and Arizona border.
Okay.
And the township of Laughlin, which has been in many ways overserved, in many ways underserved, but we're talking about roads. They hadn't had their roads touched in 25 years. We have since gone through, and every residential road in Laughlin has been rebuilt in the time that I've been there. And that's important. Right? It's quality of life, it's insurance issues, it's safety issues, it's just makes people feel good when the roads look good. And I just think it makes a difference.
So your district is all the way down to Prim.
Yeah, so the best way to think about it is as north as Flamingo. Okay. So unfortunately, all those streets you just mentioned.
It's all Justin. I've told him. He just didn't listen. It's the truth.
All Flamingo south to the California-Arizona border. So you think of the townships, it's Enterprise, Spring Valley, Paradise. Good Springs is on Justin's side of the road. We split at the 15 down south there.
Flamingo is the like the north is Justin and the south is you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I know these borders. And it goes down to
he's
Valley.
A, he's F.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I know where these
but
borders
it's
are.
Also, where so much of the growth is happening. It's the outlying area, Laughlin, I mentioned, Searchlight, Calnavari, Prim, you said. And then it's incorporated West Henderson. So I've got Inspirata, part of Anthem, part of all of Seven Hills.
So all that land that's going all the way down to the California border, is that all BLM, or do you guys plan to? I see every once in a while they build something like houses or something.
Yeah. So
are you guys going to do something with that land? If you
think south of St. Rose, as an example, to Prim, there is some stuff happening. There's some industrial projects that are happening over there where the Terribles used to be. Tim Herbst and the family sold that. They actually have some water rights there, so they were able to a little bit more easily get some development going there. Brightline train will happen along that alignment. The maintenance facility will be down that way.
Say that again.
That's the high-speed rail, the Brightline high-speed rail.
When is that coming?
Hopefully 2029.
Oh yeah. From California?
Yes, sir.
What part?
I would say from Las Vegas, but yeah, from Las Vegas to Southern California. So the idea is it would connect. The station here is at Robindale and Las Vegas Boulevard. That's where they have purchased 160 acres. That's where the station will go in Las Vegas. The route will go along the 15. When you get to St. Rose, it crosses over the 15 and it's on the center line, the median of the 15. And it'll go to Rancho Cucamonga, where you can transfer on Caltrans to anywhere they go. I think there's a lot of benefits to it. I think it'll be really...
Rancho Cucamonga's going to love that because they're going to get a lot of business.
Good for them, yeah. For decades, in 1994, Union Pacific ceased operation on passenger rail. That's the last time we had passenger rail into Clark County. And ever since then, there's been a desire to bring back some form of passenger rail. California never really saw the advantage, right? They see this saw it as a gambler's train to Las Vegas. Why would they, most of the alignment is in California. They want to keep the money on their side of the border. Yeah, we've got Nevada's side is hardly any of it. Over time, for better or worse, however you feel, the administration in California has set as one of their highest priorities to reduce carbon impact in the environment. And so because of that, they love the train. It's electric, doesn't produce any CO2 emissions.
Didn't that money on that train project get misappropriated? And it's not...
That's not this one. This is the private company. This is Brightline. They are operated in Florida. You can ride it right now from Orlando to Miami right now. There's 8 stations in between. It's working. It's successful. It's a good program. This is the one. They're both President Trump and President Biden have supported some federal grant dollars, $5 billion of federal grant dollars.
Yeah.
The current Secretary of Transportation has been really supportive of the project. It's continuing.
Good.
And I think it's kind of a common sense. The other big thing in that area that you're talking about is the future airport. There's this notion that Clark County will build the supplemental airport outside of Ivanpah.
Yeah, I heard about that, but I didn't know how, because they were talking about building another terminal, wasn't at Harry Reid Airport?
Yeah, so at Harry Reid, the idea is it's a modernization effort. So we have got to figure out how to get more capacity and increase efficiency at Reid. Also, you have parts of that area that are just dated and need some, this is kind of our economic lifeline, that airport. It's critically important to anyone who works in Southern Nevada. And so we are going to invest in modernizing that airport, increasing and improving efficiency out of that airport. And on a parallel path, and this has been going on since the 90s, was the first time that Congress first designated the area by Ivanpah as aviation. So that'll continue to move along. That's a much longer process. It's currently in what will be about a 3-year environmental project right now, get through the environmental work, but you don't have any water out there. There's no power out there. There's no sewer. There's no transportation out there. So there's a lot of work to go on that. And in the meantime, we're going to enhance efficiency at Harry Reid.
I want to talk a little bit about your guys' sidewalks.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I think they're too narrow, for one.
Oh, my God.
Especially
Really?
wheelchairs.
Take them all out.
You're just trying to be sweet.
Hold on. The sidewalks are too narrow for people in wheelchairs. You got trees that have roots that are picking up the sidewalk, and you can't even. We did a.
Did you see our video?
We did a video on that.
In District F? You did it?
Oh,
We went out on the streets,
and
Michael.
trying to get
Why didn't you
over
invite
the
me?
hump on the sidewalk because of the roots push the sidewalk up. And then you have these pop-up restaurants.
There's some in your district like that too, on Rainbow there on the way to Trop. You have some of those.
Have you seen these pop-up restaurants?
That's a generous term. Yeah,
that's what I want to call it. Pop-up restaurants that take half of the sidewalk.
Fix it, Clark County. That's illegal.
It's illegal. There's one in Rainbow right now.
I'm familiar.
We need to get
Rainbow
the Fix
and
It.
Windmill, probably.
You're going to be sorry that we got Fix It on our phones.
What do you do about that though? I mean, I can't even understand these pop-up restaurants because people that in a brick and mortar, they have to get all these license and hire staff, and you just come with your tent and a barbecue grill and you're good.
I'm so happy.
Where's the
you're
federal?
talking to me
Where's
about
the health district at? Help me understand these pop-up restaurants.
I'm going to try, but
are they
I don't
legal?
understand.
Because
No,
apparently they are.
no.
They keep popping up, and cops go by and don't say nothing.
Okay, can we talk about sidewalks first? And I promise
Sure,
we're going to get
sure.
to what you're calling pop-ups. That's such a generous way
I'm
to
gonna
refer to
bring out my cooler, my barbecue grill, and a tent, and an umbrella, and a chair, and I'm gonna start selling something. I don't know what I'm gonna sell, but I figured something out.
Sidewalks, right?
Okay.
The minimum standard that you have to have is 5 feet, 48 inches is what you have to have. It has to be able to traverse it on a wheelchair, to your point.
Right.
Anywhere you're seeing roots popping out a sidewalk, that's not okay. And that's something that County Public Works needs to get on immediately. And they can do that if it's reported.
Be in charge of the county public works?
Just shoot me a text.
Shoot, we could run that department and have
we
this
could get into
place
that in a minute. But
like really whipped up, real good.
Sidewalks are really important to me. A couple years ago, I passed an ordinance called the Safe Sidewalk Ordinance.
Okay.
Something that I am a strong advocate for is called detached sidewalks. Okay. And to put it in perspective, when you think of an average Clark County, Southern Nevada sidewalk, you're talking about the asphalt, the street, usually 10 feet of road lane, then the gutter, curb, sidewalk attached, and then you have some landscaping before you get to whatever building or property line there is, okay? The problem with that is when you're out driving, do you ever see like black marks on the sidewalk?
Mm-hmm.
right?
I think so.
Almost everywhere. The reason is because people routinely drive up
piles
on
of
the
dirt.
sidewalk. It
Yeah.
happens all the time, right?
Why do they do that?
Why do they do that?
Are they
Well,
drunk?
people are drunk. People are looking at,
Or they're
the three of us have our
texting.
phones
Yeah.
out right here.
Right.
People do that.
Uh-huh.
There's distracted driving, all kinds of bad reasons, but it happens all the time.
Okay.
Studies show that it takes about 3 feet for a driver, the average driver, to correct that action and go back onto the street. If every sidewalk in Clark County were detached, you wouldn't really have people getting killed up on the sidewalk. The person who thought it was a really good idea to have a street where people are driving, let's be generous and say 45, 55 miles an hour, Tropicana is an example, right? Dean Martin. Dean Martin. Well, I had Dean Martin. I had
Change the name.
Desert
It was
Inn, I was going to say, yeah. The expectation that you have somebody feeling comfortable walking here and having a car go a foot 12 inches away from them on the other side of a curb is going to, one, make them feel safe, two, is going to actually be safe, is ridiculous. Safe sidewalk ordinance requires a detached sidewalk, which is where you put the road, curb, gutter, 5 feet of rock landscaping, ideally, and then you have the sidewalk set back from the road. Think of every master plan development in Southern Nevada has detached sidewalks. The reason is maybe there's a little component of safety, but the actual reason is because it increases property value. It looks good when you have that kind of separation, tree-lined streets or landscaping. It looks good. That's why every, Summerlin puts detached sidewalks in. The standard at the county was not to have detached sidewalks. It is now on all new development. So when someone's coming in, you can't easily go through and rip out every sidewalk. But when someone's coming in with new development, particularly in the areas you're talking about, District F, my District A, they are being required to put in these detached sidewalks. And I'm a really big fan of it. I just think it's safer, it looks better, good for property value. And it doesn't really cost anything. It costs 5 feet of property. But if you're going to have the landscaping, you might as well have it on the side that's going to protect the user of the sidewalk, right? Okay. You mentioned some of the utilities that are in the sidewalk. That's not okay. There are areas where there are street lights that are in the sidewalk. It's not really okay. There are times where there's exceptions made for it. I argue that when you have to put it there, then the sidewalk needs to be bigger, right? You got to be able to have a wheelchair and a person cross. That doesn't even factor in all of the issues that we're facing right now with electric bikes and scooters. And you've got a weird combination of all kinds of users on our road system. And so
mopeds.
Yeah. And you got elderly lady walking along the sidewalk and a moped comes from behind them on the sidewalk. Those are scary things. And if the infrastructure is not there, it's just getting off to a bad start. So I'm glad you asked about sidewalks. I'm glad you care about sidewalks. Seriously, I think my ordinance on safe sidewalks will over time make a big difference by having detachment of the sidewalk. Where part of the problem too, and everything's case by case, so you got to look at it. But everyone always assumes that when there's road work happening, when the road's being ripped up, it's the city or it's the county. It's usually not. It's hardly ever that the case. There are well over 100 different utilities and telecom companies that have access to the rights of way, right? And some of them are taking advantage of that access and abusing it. The other thing that we have called on our public works department to do better is the coordination. I don't want to be right now using taxpayer dollars to improve Tropicana only to finish that road and 6 months later have ABC Telecom from Nebraska come in and rip up and cut these little five-yard trenches in my brand new pavement. That pisses me off. I think taxpayers see that and get irate, as they should. And the person who lives over there, who just had to be disturbed by this whole Tropicana project for months, is now got this little trench, and they're like, well, what, did they forget something?
Well, you know the national flower is the traffic cone.
Yes, I do.
Is part of that going all the way down Durango from Trop to like Russell? That whole part of Durango is terrible. Is that included in that?
Durango is not scheduled right now. There's a lot of
gosh, it should be.
So part of the problem on Durango in Clark County, and I think this is actually a good, fiscal conservative issue, is in Clark County, development pays for development. And so if there is undeveloped land, the county doesn't typically, though there's always exceptions, but the county doesn't typically come through and spend money putting in the offsite, so the street, the curb, gutter, sidewalk, until that land is developed. And so, like Patrick, which is on my side, I had a ton of what's called sawtooth. You might have 2 lanes here. All of a sudden, the right lane goes away, and you got 1 lane. Oh. And one, that creates traffic issues and safety issues too. You're driving and the lane disappears, and it's nighttime. There's no lights there. Yeah.
It's been like that on Rainbow all the way to Blue Diamond for years.
Absolutely, because you have this patchwork, and Rainbow's a perfect example of, you might have 2 blocks that are fully developed, and then you might have a 2.5 acre piece that someone's been sitting on for 50 years, right? No road. We have come through, I have pushed to have, I mentioned Patrick, because Patrick is a section where I just felt it got too dangerous. I couldn't wait for the developer to come in. We went in, we're still finishing it, but we're doing that work. And then, the idea is that when that does come through for development, you get some of that back at that time.
Was that Patrick going to 215 or east? In that?
No, in that section.
Those directions, okay.
Yeah. Do you know where Amplus is? Amplus, there's a charter school right over there.
Yes.
That was a nightmare because you had the combination, you actually had 2 Amplus Academy schools right by each other on Patrick. That became a really big problem. And so sometimes you just have to use common sense, and we're going to wait another 50 years for someone to come and develop this. We got to just bite the bullet and do it.
Well, please add Durango from Trop to Patrick or
I will take a
Russell.
look.
That area is absolutely horrifying. It is so tough on cars, and that's not Justin's area.
Is this by Rhodes Ranch or further?
No, Trop and Durango. When you're headed south,
so further.
Yeah, from there on the west side of Spanish Trail.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's terrible.
So, Commissioner, if these pop-up restaurants are illegal,
yes,
why do they exist?
So the state legislature session before last.
Did they approve them?
Well, yeah, and the governor signed a bill that Governor Lombardo.
This one?
Yes, sir.
This legislative cycle or last?
The one before this one.
He has all these roach coaches to get the burritos for the police officers. They don't need
pop-up Who came up with this bill? Whose bill was it?
They got roach coaches. Why are we having pop-up restaurants on sidewalks?
This was Senator Donate's bill.
Donate.
The county, if you go back and watch the testimony,
you don't
had
like
a lot
of
opinions.
I know you don't like it.
I really do find it offensive that businesses are under so much pressure to get. If you're operating you might be operating in the city and the county, that's 2 business licenses, right? Because we don't have a unified business license department. Right. You got your state licenses. Mm-hmm. If you're doing any kind of food and beverage, we have a very strict health department, the Southern Nevada Health Department.
And who's paying the tax dollars for these sidewalks? We are. So we should be using them, not the pop-up restaurant.
So I have found it very problematic. We fought hard to get the authority.
I could do that.
Well, we fought hard to get the authority to. The problem, what was happening with enforcement, is Metro or business licensing would go out there, and they would either push the cart the other way, and if they're moving, then they're allowed. There's not really they're allowed
to do that. Let me tell you what happened. And they go out there, right? And they're like, "Oh my God, chimichanga! Let me get 2 of those," and they forget while they're there.
I don't think so. But what we worked hard to get is the legal right, and we had to fight for this, to confiscate the food. If you're able to confiscate all of the food, then you actually there's some punitive action.
There's no business.
Right. that is happening, but these folks are really clever. They start packaging in smaller containers, and you have, a little thing of chicken like this, and then somewhere else you got a bigger thing of chicken. They're working hard. I will say enforcement is out there. We have not only increased the business licensing staff who does the enforcement of these dramatically, but we added a shift so that they're out there when these things are actually happening. People text me all the time. They'll shoot me photos of it, and our business license agents will go out there. I think it's a health issue as well. You got all kinds of things going on, let's just say.
Yeah.
And so I think you got to stay after it. When you see it, report it.
So, are they illegal or are they not illegal?
The answer is it depends. Some of what you just described to me with things like generators and pop-up tents and chairs, it's never legal in the sidewalk. When we had to pass, the state required us to pass an ordinance, I worked to make sure that sidewalks were not permissible. Those are protected. There's Americans with Disability Act. These are required to be able to free flow through sidewalks. But nonetheless, there are protections in place for them.
So a couple weeks ago, I believe, or just recently, the county commission heard something on the Airbnb, those homes, and I'm sorry that I missed that meeting. So what did you guys decide on those? How do you guys regulate those? Are they allowed more and more now? Do you guys like everybody can get a permit for those? How does that work?
Yeah, there's you probably, I think what you might have read about is there is some litigation right now. The county's being sued for the ordinance. This might be 3 sessions ago now, where the state legislature required that the county adopt laws around short-term rentals.
Right.
It had historically just been illegal in Clark County to do short-term rentals. Now we adopted, and I think this is probably now 4 years ago, that we adopted an ordinance on STRs in unincorporated Clark County. We only have jurisdiction in unincorporated county, so the cities do their own thing, right? The city of Henderson has an ordinance. Right. City of Las Vegas does. In the city of Las Vegas, it's owner occupied. So short-term rentals, like vacation rentals, are illegal. The owner has to live in the whatever it is, a house or condo. In the city of Henderson, it's a little bit more open than that. In Clark County, part of what we did was to create the system for people to get licensed. And we had things like a distance separation. You wanted to make sure that there weren't, 10 on one block kind of thing.
Like the buffer.
Yeah. So from one to the other, there's a buffer. You can't have 2 next to each other. You got to have the distance separation.
Like 2 dispensaries next to each other.
Yeah.
Don't people say that that's discrimination? That you'll allow one
and
here?
The county's being sued for it. So people are saying all kinds of things. Yeah. And they're not allowed on the strip. They're not, there's a lot of restrictions in place. And so that's going through the legal process. The county has, since it was originally adopted, brought at least one round of kind of reform to try to curtail a little bit from the original legislation, the original ordinance. No doubt there's more work to do. It's hard to know how many illegal short-term rentals there are. We think it's in the neighborhood of 11,000.
That's probably about right.
There's not very many who have legally licensed, which tells you that the process is working that way. Yeah.
No, that I wish that I was there to go testify, because I had the house next to me when my kids were little. Was for 3 years I fought, and this was when they were completely illegal. This was years ago. I went to court 3 times. Finally got rid of them.
Good for you.
But what I went through as a single mom with small children was absolutely horrific.
And that's
terrible.
Those are the stories that I heard so much of, which is why I wanted to be, when the state made us pass the ordinance, we were heavy-handed. We were as strict as we could legally be on these things.
It's good.
Because I all times a day, all through the night, my phone, the cell phone numbers everywhere, People were calling me about next door neighbor. It turns into party houses too often. Even if it doesn't, do you still really want people coming and going that you don't know? That's not like neighborly.
At least you know where all the parties are.
But part of what was supposed to be one of the benefits of licensing them was that it would be easier to enforce these rules, and I'm not sure that has really played out, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a big fight there.
Fiscal affairs. You wanted
Yes,
to
sir.
talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we have one of the most unique.
How long have you been on the fiscal affairs?
5 years now.
Okay.
So, and the structure
Does Metro love
for
you?
those who don't,
Does Metro love you?
I think probably not everyone in Metro, but
Okay.
I think so.
You guys control 60, and the city of Las Vegas
That's
control 40% of their budget.
Yeah,
right?
it's a formula laid out in NRS that dictates, and we actually have to every year. We just did it 2 weeks ago. Every year we have to re-up this formula. It's based on crime statistics and population. Right now, I think we pay 64% of Metro's budget, but it changes slightly every year.
What was it? To tell Shelley Berkeley to pick up the other 4%?
This year they actually got a slight uptick, so their shares a little bit more this year. They under the legislation, when it was passed that the city and the county were going to share a police department, there was this creation of the Metropolitan Police Department Fiscal Affairs Committee, which was to give fiscal oversight. We are one of the most unique jurisdictions in the whole country because we're certainly the only one of our size where you have an independently elected sheriff who is in charge of running the police department, right? So policies, procedures, hiring, he dictates how that police department's going to be ran. But you have two independent local governments who approve their budget.
That's
and
a big
so,
thing.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so fiscal affairs was created to work through some of these details before the final budget is adopted by the council and by the commission. And so I enjoy working on that. There's 4 of us, 2 city councilors, 2 county commissioners, and a
Excuse
private
me,
citizen.
Who's the 2 city council members?
Francis
Okay.
and Olivia Diaz.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a private citizen.
Really? There's a private citizen?
Who's that?
Yes, sir. Right now it's Virginia Valentine.
All right, let's get rid of her because
Oh,
she
I
used
know
to be
Virginia.
she used to be the manager of the county
And the
Yeah,
city.
she's been around forever.
Yeah, and I'll take it over.
Yeah, how do we get on that?
How do we get on that board? That's the board to be on.
Well,
You
stay
pulling
tuned.
me over? I
Yeah.
control your budget.
Yeah, somehow that doesn't work. But it's a responsible body that I think has proven effective.
A lot of lawsuits.
A lot of lawsuits, and that's what goes through Metro, right? It goes through fiscal affairs. We vote on litigation, we vote on the budget, anything monetary.
All right. So how does that happen? Hold 1 second, Ms. Phillips. How does that happen? I mean, somebody files a suit against Metro. It goes directly to you guys. How does that work?
We get a vote on the final action. So before, just like if the county is sued, the commission votes on the final action. So if there's a settlement, if it's going to go further into litigation, that's when,
Gotcha.
in this case, fiscal affairs engages.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Talking about money, so that hospital guy, the executive, the bonus,
Okay.
that,
You talking about UMC?
yes.
Yeah.
So when we had April here, we
Yeah.
asked her about that 'cause she
Sure.
was the only person that
Sure.
voted against that. So why is it that the rest of the commission,
Yeah.
why did you guys
Well,
vote
let's
for
take
that?
a step back, right, to maybe 6 months prior. Actually, let's take a visit down memory lane. For many, many years, UMC, which is the county's hospital, was draining the general fund of Clark County to the tune of $70 million plus a year.
I remember when that
Okay.
CEO that was appointed by was it Yvonne Atkinson Gates, I believe it was.
The gentleman who passed away
Yeah,
not too long ago.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So
Who passed
you
away?
and I think the person you're talking, if we're talking about the same
Yvonne
gentleman.
Atkinson.
No.
Oh.
The CEO of the hospital.
Oh, okay.
His name will come to me in a moment.
From Chicago, I think he was. From
That's
there.
correct. So many years ago, the county commission got fed up with this black eye that was UMC. And for better or worse, they went through a 2-year effort with a healthcare consultant, and it was a responsible effort, but they created what is now known as the governing structure for UMC. I discovered in my process and my time at the county that when they did that, they gave up a lot of authority. They gave up all of their authority over contracts under $5 million, and they gave up their authority over the hiring and firing of the CEO of the hospital. And that includes their contract. They also created this governing structure where the governing board is appointed by the county commission, but cannot be removed from the county commission. And that really gave up a lot of authority, right? So you have what we have now, which is this governing body, which they really run the hospital. Yet we're the ones who are elected by the people to have fiscal oversight of that hospital. And so I brought an amendment to the contract, which was pretty unpopular. It was so unpopular that if you go back and watch the public testimony, that the current governing body came and protested, and several of them threatened to resign en masse, and it was a bit of a scene. But at the end of the day, I thought that the commission should have that authority. Now, the reason why, flash forward to what you're talking about, the contract was ever up before us was because of my amendment to the governing structure. So bear in mind, that was the first time, what you're referring to, where Commissioner Becker spoke up, and she did a good job. That was the first time that the CEO of the hospital's contract was ever before the county commission. And the problem was, it was his contract. So voting no was really not an option. Commissioner Becker took that stand, and she did that, and I respect her for it, and work really well together, especially on this issue. But had the majority of us voted no, he would have sued us. He would have won. We would have had to pay out the rest of his contract. It was already voted on. The governing body had already approved that contract. Now, moving forward, the next contract.
How much was that bonus? 300,
yeah.
How much thousand?
Yeah.
And why is the hospital
next
cutting nurses and workers and all of this because they can't afford?
They're not cutting nurses, but and I know the testimony you're talking about.
Yeah, they're making shifts
Shift
shorter.
changes.
Yeah.
My point is, you're asking me about that contract. That contract was already approved by the governing body. So voting no would have entered us into litigation that we would have certainly have lost. It was a contract that had already been approved legally by the body that at the time had the oversight. I didn't think that was right. That's why
Do you say that when you were up there and talking?
I did say that. Yeah.
Okay.
You did say,
Yeah.
okay.
I did say that.
Okay. Because people couldn't understand, people want you guys to be fiscally responsible
Sure.
and spend money wisely, obviously. And I think a lot of people, there's even comments in the, on Facebook here about that, that they thought it was frivolous. And especially if the hospital can't keep all their employees and keep it properly staffed, and they're making cuts. Why is this guy getting such a...
I think it's frivolous to knowingly put us into... There's no defense of that. It was a contract that had already been approved. You can't... sure, you could take a stand, and it was an important stand to have taken.
Yeah.
I'm glad we had the conversation publicly because I think it'll inform future decisions.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking to... Local government's been in enough legal issues to enter into something knowingly that you cannot defend. I just don't think it's appropriate.
So we've been down there. We have testified on various things. Can you tell me the scope of your oversight over CPS, DCFS, and Child Haven? And have you ever read the public comments reviews about CPS, Child Haven, and all these? Have you read the hundreds and hundreds of reviews from Nevada's or Clark County's families that had go through that?
To answer your first question, there is an oversight role, right? In county government, we have a management-run government that the policy and fiscal responsibility ends at the county commission, right? So the county commissioners don't necessarily hire, fire, right? We
Right.
have, I think, 2
Right.
employees who actually report to us. But we set policy and we approve the budget, and those are departments that we do that for. So of course there ought to be some accountability there. To answer your second question, no, I'd be happy to direct me to them again, and I will.
So when you guys do policy, some of the things that I brought up that day, such as Child Haven not giving parents medical records, like are they giving the child in their care medicine? Could be life-threatening if they don't have that medicine. They withhold that from parents where their rights are fully intact. Is that something that should change? I mean, why wouldn't Child Haven be forced to give parents with rights intact, even though their children are at Child Haven, medical records? Are you giving them the pills, the medication? When was it given? How come those are not forthcoming to parents?
I don't disagree with you. I think if the parent has that legal right and responsibility, then that ought to be honored.
It's not. That's
Yeah.
not a policy with Child Haven.
Well, let's dig into it.
Because there was many things that I said in that testimony that need some oversight. There's abuse of power, I believe, with CPS, some of these workers. Things that we have seen being involved in litigants and their stories. And you guys have the power to change some of that stuff.
Yeah, let's
So
work together.
we would like some follow-up on that. And the recorder's office.
So for the record, you guys are, and when I say you guys, county commission,
Just throw us all into one lump.
county commission, does all the budgets for all the departments, like recorder, assessor, county clerk, treasurer, you guys handle all the budgets for those departments, and an elected actually manages that department, correct?
Yeah, so that is
Is that a
is
true
troubling.
statement?
So one of the
What part is troubling?
I'll get to it.
Okay.
We talked about how unique it is that we have the relationship with Metro, how that's the only place like it.
Right.
We also, under state law, have a lot of department heads who are elected in county government, some important departments.
Yes.
I personally think that is a very odd structure for a lot of reasons.
Explain.
Which you have no
Tell-
oversight over.
No, I have
is
no,
that
it's
correct?
state law. Yeah, you're right.
But you can
I-
take
it's
their
state
money,
law.
and then where are
Well,
they gonna go?
Well,
yes
that's
and no.
one thing,
Yes
but-
and
Yes and
no.
no, okay.
I
He can't just
I can't
defund the recorder's
I
office
want to defund
because she's
the
not
recorder's
coming to
office.
work.
How's that gonna how's that gonna help get
I
somebody
mean,
to take the
that's
money away?
yeah,
But
that's
the job's definitely not getting done.
right.
We don't control their salary, the elected salary. We have very little punitive authority over them, right? They're elected, and under current law, they're elected by the people, and so
Right.
you another elected shouldn't be able to throw them out.
Correct.
But there are cases where it is incredibly frustrating. You've got county management who is tasked with and expected to oversee these departments, and that becomes challenging when the department head, who kind of reports through the county manager, has been elected, right? They have certain other authorities. And it also creates a situation where you may or may not have the best person for the job, right? That person might have passed an election, and we'll give the voters a lot of due credit, but there's a lot of people on ballots in Nevada. We've got a lot of judicial races. We've got a lot of local races. To expect everyone to know what's expected of county treasurer, clerk, recorder, that's a lot. And so I think it creates a lot of confusion. We have, in the past, the county has supported legislation to try to change that. It has consistently, actually our friend Commissioner Kirkpatrick has worked really hard to try to get some of these changes made into state law, but it's never gone anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. But to your point of the oversight, it creates a very challenging oversight role.
That's tough because, yeah, I mean, there's one thing at the ballot box, but I mean, just the basics of somebody showing up for work when you're supposed to be running an entire
Correct.
department, especially that big of a department. You have to be there. You can't come in the middle of the night.
Well, and back to our conversation, about, the elected county, and the reason why it's different, if people don't get, I mean, I'm in elected, so isn't that hypocritical? Well, the difference is I'm elected to, again, set the policy and to have fiscal oversight of the county. Now, I'm not elected to run a department because I may or may not have expertise in one of the 39 departments of the county.
39.
Yes, sir.
It's a lot.
Yeah, not
Could you
including
name
any
them
of our not including any of our external agencies. That doesn't even include Metro as an example.
Right.
Anyway, your point is valid. We have,
And everyone knows it's going on.
The public administrator, you've brought a lot of light to the recorder's office. The public administrator is one that there has also been a lot of light on.
You think?
But you know what's funny, Michael, is that when we talk to these other people, I mean, we had so many whistleblowers come forward that work in that building and tell us what is going on. And it's amazing. Other department, they all know what's happening. They all laugh because they know what's happening. It's been happening for years. That's embarrassing to the county.
And I think we should continue to change state law.
Yeah. Why is it that a advocacy group that has nothing, that's not attached to government, has to bring this to light when all those elected officials are there?
Well, I think there has been some oversight as well that has existed. I think people bringing to light their own personal experience is absolutely that's what's always changed things in history. So, I give you and others credit for doing it because speaking up is how you impact change.
That's the first step.
What do you think when you see us coming into the chambers
This is what he thinks.
in our shirts?
Oh my God, they're here again.
Are you guys all thinking like, oh my gosh, what are they here for now?
They've got a lot of different shirts because I told you this one time. You came in at the beginning of the meeting, and by the end, you were wearing a different Veterans and Politics shirt.
I had two different.
You did a wardrobe. I know. You did a wardrobe.
You're the only
change
one that
in the
noticed
middle.
too. We were laughing.
I was like, man, they're on point.
I had two different testimonies. I
Okay,
didn't
so
wanna
you didn't
confuse
answer the
them.
question.
What do I think?
Yo, what do you guys think?
Yeah, what do you think?
I can't think I can't speak for
What do you
everybody
think?
else.
What do you think? What do you think?
I wonder what they're going to bring up now. I think you guys have brought up a wide.
It's like, oh boy.
A lot of people will come every time and talk about the exact same thing. You guys mix it up a little bit. I think that's good.
I get bored of talking about the exact
What's
same
going
thing.
on with that Ben guy with the aviation?
Oh, like
and the
that.
Yeah,
like
what's
that. That's a
happening
good-
with that?
that's a-
Is he
that's a
still
good-
employed
that's a
with the
good
county?
example. I really can't speak to his personal
Employment?
information. I really can't. But
Whether he's employed with the county, you
I
can't?
can tell you that the director of the Department of Aviation has, and you guys probably know this because he has taken over those meetings and has been very invested, both at North Las Vegas and Henderson.
Okay. Commissioner Naft, thank you so much for
Thank
coming on
you.
the program. Do you have anything else for Commissioner Naft?
Yes,
I
and
can
it's
tell.
like running in my head, and I'm trying to remember what it.
we might
Invite
want to
me
bring you back.
I'm sorry.
We could bring you
Oh,
back
it's
after.
already-
Would you come back after the election?
Well, that's in a long time. After what election?
This one.
Okay.
I know what you can make this quick. We were talking about this before the show.
Okay.
About how people kind of get hung up on
Partisan.
D's and R's and party and should the county commissioner, should that be a partisan race? And when you're really representing everybody that lives in the community and in your district. So what are your thoughts on being a Democrat or Republican, and should it even be?
No, is
That-
the answer. One of the things that attracts me so much to local government is it's common sense, it's practical, it's last mile service. It's we vote on things and you can actually see it happen in the neighborhood. You don't have to. You got to count to 4. You don't have to count to 400. You can actually get something done. I love that about local government. And unfortunately, also one of those state law things is the Clark County Commission is a partisan office. The issues we deal with are neighborhood issues. We are running, the unincorporated county is larger than all of the cities in Southern Nevada, than most of them combined. And so we are doing functionally the same services plus a lot more than the city councils. And why the city councilors and mayor are able to run nonpartisan, but the county commission has to run
guys
with
do the
a
exact same
letter
job.
next to their
We do the
name.
same thing.
Yeah, plus some of the things that you guys both brought up today. But at the end of the day, it's core common sense in your neighborhood, police to pothole type issues. The things we talked about here. And no, I don't really know why the letter next to your name is going to inform the way that you tackle these issues.
Well, Commissioner Naft, thank you so much for coming on once again. Mark is going to zoom in on you, and
That's great. I look better from far away.
Give a campaign speech.
and this is, you could, whatever the final word you want to say, or you want to give out your contact information, it's
Give your cell phone number again.
I will.
totally up to
I
you.
will.
Or
All right.
encouraging people to come down and speak.
I was going to do that without you
or
prompting me.
talking
now.
about that app that you got going on. The
Fix It Clark County.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, download Fix It Clark County, or better yet, you can call your Clark County Commissioner directly. You can call any of them at 702-455-3590, or you can call me on my cell phone at 702-769-9225 and let us know how we can better serve you. And I want to thank both of you for the invitation to allow me to join you, for speaking up for people who you believe need to be spoken up for, and for always being part of the process. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you, Ms. Phillips. Folks, that's Michael Naft, Clark County Commission, District A. And like my one of my good friends say all the time, Jim Jonas, he goes, the county commissioner and the city council is where the rubber meets the road. So, you know, it doesn't matter what your political party is, to move a tree or to have a buffer or fix a street or whatever the case might be. These are all common sense issues, and everybody wants the same thing. They want nice roads, they want a good school, they want all that. So there you have it. This is Steve Sanson, Stephanie Phillips with Veterans in Politics. Until next time.